In this video tutorial, I just want to run you through the essentials of how to use Adobe Spark. And hopefully it's pretty intuitive, I think. So what I want to do first is show you how to um, start from scratch. So this isn't quite scratch. You'll have to create your own account, but it's kind of the typical creating an account, either using your Facebook account, your Google account, or just an email address. Once you've created your account, you'll come to your page that looks something like this one. At the top, you'll see the ads from Adobe Spark. Here, you will see the stories that you have created and that you can work on, so the Spark projects. Note we are working with pages this time around. Spark does a few other things, as I'll show you in just a second. But when you want to create a new Spark project, you click this blue plus button. And as I mentioned, you can either do a post, a page, or a video. A post ends up being something like an infographic. So if you're working on the discussion board, for example, and you're doing the discussion that asks you to create an advertisement for 1880s rail tourism in New Mexico, you may want to use Spark's post feature. It works really well for that. But we're doing a page for the final project, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and create here. So Spark will think for a minute and then give you this. So what you need to do, let me see if I can close that, get out of the way. What you need to do as you go along is just use the template to put your essay essentially into Spark. So the point of what we're doing is to create an enhanced essay rather than just kind of the regular, more straightforward kind of essay that you may be used to writing and just submitting for your classes. Also, another great thing about this is something that you can keep and take with you, and you can show off as you continue your academic program or as you look for jobs, depending on what kind of employment you're looking for. It might be great to be able to say, I have some experience using multimedia platforms online. Let me show you what I did with this one. So you'll go ahead and add your title. Let's call this one History of New Mexico. And then you can add a subtitle. It's a good idea to write your name there, maybe. All right. Brandon Morgan. All right. And then if you click anywhere on this gray kind of background, you get the option to add a photo. To add photos in Spark, you can use the free photos that they have. If you're a member of Adobe, you can use things like Stock, Creative Cloud, or Lightroom. I'm not, so I don't. You can link your Dropbox account or Google Photos here, or you can just upload a photo from your computer. So something that I've realized with this particular platform, the free photos aren't always the best. You might find what you want, you might not. I'll give you more of a sense of that in just a minute when I show you another one of these I created. You may want to go and find a photo on Google Images or something like that. That's just images.google.com. You can find access to many, many more photos. You could download that to your computer and then upload it again here, or you could save it to Dropbox if you have a Dropbox account and access it here. Just to show you what happens if you click on Find Free Photos, it just gives you a search box and it searches Flickr and a couple of other photo services. So I'm just going to type New Mexico and we'll see what we get. Right, so it does Unsplash, Flickr, and Pixabay. So you'll note there are some kind of iconic-ish New Mexico photos. I'll choose that one just because. And there you go. So depending on how it works with the font that you've chosen and the colors, you may want to change it. You can do that just by clicking again. You can choose focal point, you can replace it or delete it. You scroll as it tells you to start writing your story. So you scroll down, and this gives you the option to either add another photo, which will pull up the same thing we just saw for adding a photo. To add text, it'll give you a text box, and you can actually just copy and paste the text from what you've written into here. and I'll show you how that looks in just a second. Or you can create a button. What this will do is it'll allow you to, write text. So you can label the button whatever you want, and then you just paste in any URL. So I'm switching tabs here, but this is the URL to the assignment instructions. I just copied it. I'm going to paste it over here. You can align your button how you want. Click Save. So you'll note there's the title I created, the button. Now that I click it, well, I can edit it and delete it. When I'm not in the editor mode on Spark, though, you click it and it'll take you to your website. Video is similar. You can embed video links from YouTube, Vimeo, or Spark. I'm going to cancel that. So you just have to go find one of those and have the URL. You can do a photo grid. So that just puts the photos in a grid, or you can do a glide show. And the glide show is kind of cool. I'll show you what happens with this. I'm just going to choose some free photos. So I'll choose that one. So it puts that one there. Choose that one and this one, just for the sake of argument. And you can go through and use different search terms for each. Then when I click Save, this is what you get. So let me scroll back up. So here's where we just were. Scroll down, there's my photo, and it gives you this text box so that you can either put in a video, text, another photo, which that might get a little weird to have photo upon photo, but you can add your text on top of the photo. So if you have a certain paragraph in your body of your essay that would work really well with a particular image, you could paste that paragraph in here and then scroll down and do the same, paste the next paragraph here, and you would have a photo behind it, and so on. And then you go to the bottom and you just have the option to keep creating. I'm going to get out of this one, so I'm just going to click this SP over here, and that will take me back to my home page. Now you can see I have this new one here. I'm going to click on this one called History Final Project. What I've done with this one, and I'll have a link to it in the project Final Project instructions file that you have. What I've done is I've just put all of the Final Project instructions up here as a Spark presentation or a Spark page. So I chose a photograph for a History Final Project. Here are the learning competencies that you'll see at the top. And something I suggest in the instructions is for you to type your work in Word and then put it up on Spark. That's what I did essentially. So here's my work, the Final Project instructions. Let me scroll to the top. So this is what you see when you get the instructions. I've just copied and pasted this whole thing in different ways into Spark. So this will give you, if you want, a means of looking at what the text looked like in the document versus what I decided to do with it on Spark. So this one I added an image, then we just have the next paragraph. Scroll down, I put an image in, and as the caption, this is where I put the different steps and due dates for the 3 steps of the assignment. Here's the topic and research question part, and as I scroll down, here's a glide show. So this is what I just showed you a second ago. And you can actually have hyperlinks within the glide show. Scroll down. This is a glide show just to talk to you about choosing your topic and your question. Next, we get to the annotated bibliography, and I did another one. So it tells you the different sources you need. You need 1 primary source, 2 academic secondary sources, and the link to a help video if you don't know what that means. 3 other secondary sources, and 2 social media sources. The social media sources are there just so you can see what people might be saying about your topic on social media. It may be that they're not saying anything, and if that's the case for your annotated bibliography, just tell me that. There wasn't really anything on social media. Or, if there was, you might say, this is what people are saying, but it really doesn't actually pertain to anything that relates to the historical evidence about my topic. Again, it just depends on what they're saying. I threw this picture of La Sagrada Familia in here. This is a cathedral in Barcelona that has been under construction since 1882. So please make sure that you complete your project. And as you scroll down here, I have one more glide show to show you all of the elements that you need to have in your essay and your Spark presentation. And then at the end, here, I created a couple of buttons that will link to examples that these two students from prior semesters said they gave me permission to use those to share them with you. So their assignment was a little different than this one. They weren't writing an essay all the way out. They were doing an annotated bibliography on Spark. But hopefully those examples will just be something else you can look at to get a sense of how to use Spark and what you can do with it. So I've created this and I want to share it. That's the last step of the assignment. And there's Jordan emailing me. She's one of the folks that said I could share her assignment with you. So when you want to publish this, you go and you can decide what you want to label it. I've called mine Education. I'm the author. If I want to turn that on, it'll, again, you don't have to have the author label. I think I will, just to see what that does. If I want to be featured on the Spark website, I can put that on. If I don't, I can turn that off and it won't be featured on the Spark website. Click Create Link, and this will create link. So when I tell you to post the URL for your Spark project in Blackboard, you just click Copy, and you go to Blackboard and you paste it into the submission area. You also can just click Twitter here to share the your work with us on Twitter. So that's another thing to do. Remember to use the class hashtag. Family's coming home, so I think this is a good place to wind up this video. Please let me know if you have any questions.